Filmmaking. It's not just about pointing a camera at something interesting. It's about creating something unforgettable. But for beginners, the path to success can feel overwhelming. Where do you start? What gear do you need? How do you find your first clients? It's a lot to take in. So in this video, I'm going to share 7 essential tips that will guide you step by step to becoming a full-time filmmaker. Let's dive in. So this video is really just a crash course of all the things I wish I knew before I dove headfirst into the creative field. If you like what you see in this video training, you're going to get infinitely more value in our flagship course, Full-Time Filmmaker Premium. There you can access over 700 detailed videos on the technical side of content creation, like what gear to buy, how to use it, how to light a scene, editing, working in different fields like real estate, weddings, commercials, plus access to our private Facebook community of over 25,000 students, where you can ask questions, get feedback, and maybe even get hired for a gig. Now, I'm not going to sell you on that course throughout this video, but I am going to make an offer at the end if you'd like to join us in that program. You really don't need a $5,000 setup to create something incredible. Some of the best filmmakers started with what they had, whether it was a used camera, a borrowed lens, or even their phone. The key isn't what you use, it's how you use it. Your creativity and resourcefulness matter way more than your gear's price tag. One of the most popular YouTubers of our time, Casey Neistat, made some of his early viral videos with nothing more than a simple point-and-shoot camera and sheer ingenuity. It's proof that great storytelling and a clear vision can outshine expensive gear every time. If you're in the market for a camera, start by opening up Facebook Marketplace. Look for entry-level cameras like the Canon EOS Rebel series, the Sony a6000 series, or my personal favorite on the budget side, older Panasonic Lumix models. These obviously aren't going to be the latest releases, but they still pack a punch, especially for beginners. Once you get a camera, pair it with some affordable secondhand essentials like a sturdy tripod, simple shotgun microphone for some clean audio, and an LED light with a softbox for even flattering lighting. You'd be surprised. This entire setup can cost just a few $100s if you shop smart. And if your budget is tight, don't overlook the power of your smartphone. Upgrade to a model like the iPhone 15 Pro or newer. These phones shoot in a professional grade codec and color profile called ProRes Log, which gives you tremendous control in post-production, similar to high-end cameras. I actually teach you exactly how I get shots like this with my iPhone in my mini course, Pocket Filmmaker. So here are a few key questions to ask yourself when buying your first camera. Number 1, what's your budget? Be realistic about what you can spend without compromising features. Number 2, what's it for? Are you shooting vlogs, short films, client work, or something else? And number 3, what specs do you care about? For instance, if you love slow motion, prioritize cameras with high frame rates. With these answers in mind, do your research. Start with online comparison tools, read reviews, and then narrow down thousands of those options to just a handful. And if you're still stuck, try this. Describe exactly what you need to ChatGPT, and it'll actually give you some pretty solid recommendations. But remember this, okay? Gear is just a tool. The secret isn't in what you buy, it's in what you create with it. So master the basics, and you're gonna make any camera work for you. Speaking of which, let's talk basics. The camera in your hand is just a tool. It's your job to make it work for you. And the first step to mastering any camera is understanding the big 3: ISO, shutter speed, and aperture. Together, these control your exposure and the overall look of your footage. ISO is your camera's sensitivity to light. So the higher the ISO, the brighter your image, but don't push it too far. High ISO introduces digital noise, which can make your footage look grainy and unprofessional. Shutter speed controls how motion is captured in your video. A faster shutter makes action look really crisp, like too crisp, while a slower shutter adds motion blur, just like what your eyes would see. Lastly, aperture determines how much light enters your lens. It also controls the depth of field, that beautiful blurry background that makes your subject pop. So here's how to balance these 3. Start with shutter speed. If you're shooting at 24 frames per second, or 23.976 to be exact, double it so your shutter speed is 1/48. Doubling your frame rate is standard in filmmaking for natural motion blur. Then adjust your aperture. If you want a really blurry background, use a low f-stop number like f1.8 or f2.8. But keep in mind that a wide aperture lets in a lot of light, which might overexpose your image in bright conditions. Finally, set your ISO. Keep it as low as possible for a clean image, but if you need more brightness, don't be afraid to bump it within your camera's acceptable range. And by the way, you don't have to do it in this order, but for beginners, this is the checklist I'd recommend using. And here's a pro tip. Most cameras have a base ISO. It's the sweet spot where you'll get the best dynamic range, capturing more detail in both shadows and highlights. Look it up for your camera model and try to stick to that base ISO whenever you can. And if it's still too bright, you might need an ND filter. Think of it as sunglasses for your camera, helping you maintain those ideal settings even in harsh daylight. Now, honestly, the key here is just practice. Take your camera out in different shooting scenarios: indoors, outdoors, low light, and bright sun. Adjust all three of those settings manually and see how they affect your image. The more you practice, the faster you're going to be able to adapt to any lighting or shooting situation. Lighting is, without a doubt, I think, the most important element of your video. Without good lighting, even the best camera in the world is not going to save you. The trick is to control and shape the light to flatter your subject. So I recommend starting with a really simple 2-light setup. Place your key light slightly to the side of your subject at about a 45-degree angle. What this does is creates soft shadows that really add depth to your shot. Then add a backlight or a hair light diagonally behind the subject to separate them from the background and create just a more three-dimensional look. And here's a really easy pro tip for cinematic shots. Aim to shoot on the shadow side of your subject. It just creates way more depth and texture, making your shot instantly more dynamic. So lighting doesn't have to be complicated. If it looks good to your eyes, it'll probably look even better on camera. Just experiment with different setups, angles, and intensities until you find what works for your style. Over time, lighting will become second nature, and you'll use it to set the tone and the mood of your stories like a true professional. Have you ever heard the saying, a picture says 1,000 words? A beautifully crafted video can say way more. A single shot has the power to evoke emotions, tell stories, and leave lasting impressions. And while you don't have to plan out every shot, I recommend it, especially when you're just starting out. So before you even turn on your camera, it's worth just taking some time to map out your video. Planning it might not sound exciting, but it's the foundation of every great film, from YouTube shorts to the Hollywood blockbusters. Start by asking yourself these two questions. Number one, what's it about? What's the message you're trying to convey? This is going to guide pretty much every creative decision you make. And number two, how can you speak to your audience visually? Think about visuals that'll catch their attention or evoke an emotional response. Now, for me, music often is what inspires my creativity. The perfect song, whether it's fast-paced, slow, and ambient, or somewhere in between, sets the tone and the mood for the entire project. The short film I shot in Wyoming was inspired by a song I came across on MusicBed. Now, there's a lot of music out there, but finding just the right song for your project and choosing one that you can actually use for your own projects and client work can be really hard. At least it used to be before I switched to MusicBed. It's the only platform I trust for professional, authentic music that doesn't sound like a cheap corporate jingle. MusicBed has the largest collection of curated music with over 60,000 songs available. And with their advanced search filters, it's never been easier to find the right song. My favorite way to search is with their AI-powered search by song feature. You just type in any song that you like, literally any song, and it'll match you up with similar music from the MusicBed library. And for every one song that I find and like, MusicBed suggests a dozen more. So right now, for a limited time, you can actually get a totally free 14-day trial to MusicBed, so you can switch and see the difference yourself. Now, I'm more inspired to create when I have good music, and I think you'll be too. So just hit the link in the description box below to switch to MusicBed today. Now, once I have a song in mind, I start visualizing the shots that match its rhythm and mood. I'll browse through the scenes from my favorite movies or videos for inspiration, and I might even note how a director frames a subject or captures a specific type of movement. Then I either describe the shots that I want to get, or I'll sketch them out in a notebook. I'm a terrible artist. You don't need to be an artist to do a storyboard. Just a rough outline is more than enough to guide your shoot. Every video is different, and so is every story. So while we could break down story structure into elements like a compelling hook, a climax, and a grand resolution, the truth is your job as a creator is to take your viewer on a journey. That journey doesn't have to follow a rigid formula. It just has to engage your audience and leave them feeling something. Whether that's awe, laughter, or inspiration, it's up to you to decide. Now, editing is where the magic happens. It's the stage where your raw footage transforms into a cohesive story. And even though we do have a huge library of digital assets, don't let flashy effects or trendy transitions intimidate you. They can definitely help enhance your visuals, but you need to learn some basic editing first. Now, to the camera, your footage might look dull and flat like this. It's completely normal. But with a few tweaks like boosting contrast, enhancing saturation, and applying a stylized look using a LUT like this free one, you can turn a lifeless clip into a cinematic masterpiece. A LUT, or a lookup table, is essentially a color grading shortcut that gives your footage a professional finish with minimal effort. So when it comes to editing, here's how you get started. First, organize your footage. Create a folder for all your clips and then start picking your selects, the best moments of your footage that support your story. Once you've chosen your clips, lay down the foundation for your edit. Add a music track or a voiceover and begin arranging your footage to match the flow of your storyboard. Next, sprinkle in some finishing touches to really elevate your edit. Add sound effects like risers, whooshes, or drum hits to emphasize key moments. Overlays like film grain or light leaks can add texture and depth. The goal isn't to overwhelm your viewer with effects, but to really create an immersive experience that enhances your story. Remember, editing is like sculpting. You start with a really rough shape and then you refine it over time. Don't rush the process. Just watch your edit from start to finish, repeatedly trimming and tweaking until it flows seamlessly. Now, just being able to create something that you're proud of is the goal for many of you. But what if you want to turn your creativity into a career? Before I dive into this, remember that just because you've acquired this new skill set of creating cinematic content, it doesn't mean that you have to launch a production company. You can create a product or a service that you're really passionate about and then use your new talents in filmmaking to augment your brand identity, to make content that resonates with people or customers that you want to work with. But if you do want to start a production company, here's 5 steps to breaking your first $10,000 a month. Step number 1, define your ideal client. What industry are they in? How big is their company? What are their content needs? Make a list of companies you'd like to create content for. Step 2, make your brand. What branding would your ideal client resonate with? Decide on a name, a logo, and a portfolio that would appeal to them. Step 3, create a package that solves a problem your ideal client has. Maybe they need better social content. Put them on a quarterly retainer that includes photos and videos to strengthen their online presence. You're selling a solution. Step number 4, sell. Start with businesses that you already have a connection to. And if not, try talking to a decision maker. Tell them you've got a few strategic ideas to help improve their content and you'd love to hop on a call. And step number 5, close the deal. Use the packages that you've made to prescribe a solution for them. Confirm that they can afford that package. Ask them, what does a win look like? And then schedule a second call to go over the official proposal, and then you're off to the races. Running a creative business has very unique challenges, but the more that you stay true and create the stuff that you enjoy making and work with the clients that you enjoy working with, the further you're going to be able to take it. A book that I discovered early on in my creative career is called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I used to just beat myself up thinking that I wasn't improving fast enough or I didn't have any original ideas, like I wasn't all that creative. And after flipping through this, I realized that nothing is original. Everything that you've ever known is a copy of something else. And not only that, there's no finish line. Like there's no point in your creative journey where you've just made it. In reality, nobody knows what they're doing, even the Casey Neistats and the Peter McKinnons and the Sam Colders, but they do it anyway. So if you've made it to the end of this video, what I'm about to say next is specifically for you. You have an obsession. You wouldn't have listened to me speak for these last 20 minutes unless the title of this video was genuinely something you wanted to do. But trust me, you don't want to do this alone. Creative entrepreneurship is a brutal, mind-bending, burnout-riddled process, but the best way to push through the hard times and come out on the other side is by doing it with others. That's why the full-time filmmaker community is the best place for new filmmakers. And not just because of the hundreds of tutorials, the free resources, and the student discounts, but because you'll have me and thousands of other active filmmakers as your mentors. You can get immediate validation for your ideas, ask for feedback so you can improve faster, and learn from some of the best in the industry. So Full-Time Filmmaker Premium sells for $9.97. But since you've made it to the end of this training, I'm gonna give you a discount. And I'm actually not gonna tell you what that discount is. You're just gonna have to hit the link in the description that says enroll in Full-Time Filmmaker, go to checkout, and then enter in the coupon box obsessed. You'll get a great discount and lifetime access to all 700 plus videos, our private community, and any new content that we put out. And if lifetime access is out of reach, you actually get started for even less with an annual subscription. I put a link below if you want to learn more and enroll. As always, thanks for watching, and if you have any further questions, please let me know.
Welcome to Full-Time Filmmaker, the ultimate online film school where you can learn how to shoot, edit, and market high-quality videos that will attract high-paying clients in a variety of industries like weddings, commercials, real estate, music videos, action sports, travel and lifestyle, YouTubing, podcasting, and much more. Having produced content myself in all of these industries over the past decade for big-name brands like Hyundai, LG, Canon, Adobe, and DJI, I've learned what high-paying clients are looking for in a video that will keep them hiring you for more years to come. Now in this program, we have over 700 training videos totaling over 100 hours of tutorial content, teaching you what type of gear to buy, all the technical terminology, the basics of good cinematography, in-depth lighting training, how to edit a video from beginning to end in Premiere Pro, Final Cut, and DaVinci Resolve. And we also have extensive business and marketing training that will teach you how we've helped thousands of our members quit their day jobs and turn six-figure incomes as full-time filmmakers. In total, there are 25 different modules or mini courses that each deep dive into showing you how to operate in all of the most popular industries for which the demand for video creation is high. And I'm so confident in the quality difference here at Full-Time Filmmaker that we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like the course, we don't want your money. We'll refund you in full. On average, only 4% of purchasers take us up on that offer, and we've refunded everyone who's asked. The other 96% who loved it and stayed now make up the world's greatest community of video creators, totaling over 30,000 members from over 100 different countries who are all interacting daily in our private Facebook group, giving value to one another as they answer each other's questions and give feedback and share success stories and encourage and support one another. Many who've joined Full-Time Filmmaker say that the group alone was worth the purchasing price, as they've found mentors, second shooters, editors, or even business partners that have allowed them to grow and scale their business in a way that YouTube videos just couldn't do. And on top of all the education, mentoring, and networking, we also provide exclusive discounts on popular gear such as 60% off the Adobe Creative Cloud, saving you over $300 a year, 50% off Red Giant software like Pluralize or Colorista, and up to 10% off a host of camera brands as well. And lastly, the course includes a wide range of free assets and downloads such as my favorite orange and teal LUT that I use on a lot of my videos, Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and Final Cut Pro keyboard shortcut presets, a link to download a huge library of free quality sound effects, along with a folder of 100 of my most used sound effects, raw footage, and a Premiere Pro project file from several different shoots so you can see a behind the scenes look at how we operate in the editing room. And we also provide contract, waiver, and invoice templates to assist you in running your business. And as soon as you join, you get instant access to all 700 videos, along with any future content that we add. And you can watch at your own pace as many times as you want from your phone or your computer, and you can even download the content on our mobile app for offline viewing as well. So whether you're a beginner with zero knowledge or already have some experience but are looking to scale your business to the next level, Full-Time Filmmaker teaches you everything I know about how to shoot, edit, and market stunning video content. So get signed up today to see why many who used to rely solely on YouTube or already spent tens of thousands of dollars at expensive film schools are calling this program worth every penny. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at support@fulltimefilmmaker.com, and we'll see you inside the course.